Welcome back to Season 5 of the FVC. Starting off in Round 3, we start the European leg of our calendar after the first two rounds out in China and Singapore. Hopefully, this race treats some competitors better than the previous two have. Number of DNFs as we've seen out in Singapore. Lots of carnage going on in that race. Hopefully, for some of our competitors, a cleaner race this week out. First car to be heading out of the pits looks to be one of the Williams, followed by an Alfa Romeo. Forgetting the buttons. First car out on track, Simon Baker 4067, followed by the Alfa Romeo of Mr. M. Rose. M. Rose has never raced before with us in the FVC main series. Don't even think they've raced before in the FVC 2 Championship before either. Complete fresh talent. Let's see how well they hit up against all the main experienced drivers. Spain has held the Grand Prix two times in the FVC history, first being back in Season 1 Round 5 as a yellow flag for one of the Alfa Romeos, that'll be Bly Apper. Every time a driver has won the Spanish Grand Prix in a season, they have turned out to be champion. This proved true both in Season 1 and Season 3. Another yellow flag for the Alfa Romeo again. One round, hopefully she'll be able to get going eventually. Jumping over to Simon Baker now, starting the first of many flying laps in this qualifying session. Lap record for the Spanish Grand Prix set all the way back in Season 3, the last time it hosted a race. 1 minute 16.766, set by LCR F1 Ben. Purple first sector for the Williams of Simon Baker. Unfortunately not being able to finish a race so far in the FVC, both crashing out on the first lap at Shanghai and Singapore. We're going to be hoping for a much better race this week out. Yellow flag, sector 3 for one of the AlphaTauris. Aston Martin in sector 1 as well. Purple middle sector, obviously. Immediately taken away though by the Alfa Romeo of M. Rose, currently giving chase. Yellow sector 3 for one of the Alphas getting spun round. It is not going well for the Alpha Bly Apper so far. Round the final two corners. Out of the chicane, coming around the long right-hander. Run to the line now. Simon Baker sets the bar at a 118.633. M. Rose goes ahead with a 118.63. M. Rose goes ahead of 118.124, and OJ English with a 118.111, our new podium sitter from last week out in the Williams team. Red Bull of Azzy, our previous race winner out in Singapore, with a 117.910. Azzy's dominant performance out in the city circuit proved to be completely unbeatable. HP8 Gamer now, the reserve Ferrari, our winner from Shanghai, and also going to be a very fast driver, setting a 117.811. Whereas the second Ferrari with a 118.890. HP8 spins out, contact the wall, doesn't seem to be getting any damage though, wing stays intact. Thankfully, very far off the track, not going to be causing any problems. The other Ferrari also seems to have hit problems coming around turn 3 as well. Multiple spins from multiple cars all around the circuit. McLaren running wide, and Rose cutting the corner to get into the pits. Apex setting a 119.415, goes ahead of teammate Scarlet with a 121.188. Scarlet also retiring from the session in the middle sector. Not sure what's happened there. Let's jump over to one of the McLarens, hoping to get a view. Fortunately, the accident will get cleared away before we get a chance to see what happened. Already not looking well for the Aston Martin team this week. McLaren now, Saskia Malcolm around the final corner to set her first flying lap. Does a 128.551, quite far off. Long way to go for Saskia if she wants to be able to be challenging up with the rest of the pack. Yellows in sector 3 for a McLaren, facing problems. That will be Harrison M and 2906 on their flying lap. Gonna have to abort that one, go again. Saskia looking as well, much faster this time round, hoping to get up from their 128.551. VNT Rosenquist now in the Red Bull sitting at 135.046, extremely far off the pace, both of everyone and their teammate. Red Bull of Rosenquist also facing problems in Sector 1, around Turn 3. Turn 3 proving to be a little difficult from some of the drivers here. Long, fast right-hander could cause some cars to spin round, might cause problems in the race. Saskia improves to a 124.251. Ten minutes remaining, 4 cars still yet to set a lap, another number of them still yet to set a good one. House and M goes to 130.737, that lap is aborted though, having a spin. All drivers from 11th down seem to be having a lot of problems setting laps in qualifying. Asking them all off the track in the gravel, laps invalidated, staying away to let all the drivers pass. We see the Williams duo following right behind each other, hoping to probably get a slipstream. OJ English being the follow car, already has the lap time good enough for 3rd on the grid provisionally. Simon Baker though all the way down to 7th, about half a second off of his teammates. However, yellow middle sector, or purple middle sector, sorry, for the Williams got taken away pretty quickly though. Jumping road for the last few corners. Entry into chicane looks good. Jumping over the curves a little bit. Keeps it nice and steady on exit. Coming up to the line, Simon Baker improves to a 118.554. Moves into 6th position, just ahead of the Mercedes of Eldorado. OJ English also improves by a couple of tenths as well. Harrison M now 119.375, moves up into 9th position in the McLaren. Curly 7 as well, now into 9th with a 119.050 for the AlphaTauri team. Fly after coming around the final chicane. Nice and steady, it dives into the pits, going to be another lap aborted for the Alfa Romeo. Moving over to Adora Tay. Adora also aborts and goes into pit lane. Jumping over, or hitting into the back of a car it looked like. Adora Tay, 5-place grid penalty for hitting the back of Saskia. Atrocious qualifying, going even worse. Williams duo again falling right behind each other. OJ English now still behind. Harrison M now retires from the session. Breaking one of the front wheels, hitting off one of the sides of the track. A 1:19.375 is still quite off the pace. Not looking good for McLaren. As Apex spins it round, going very far off the track. Although we didn't officially see it, I'm going to be presuming that's what happened to the Aston Martin of Scarlett earlier, dropping it midway out of the corner and hitting into the right-hand barrier. Fourth place taken by Mr. M. Rose, 1:18.124. Coming around the final few corners, doesn't go into pit lane down the straight now. Does not improve his lap, stays at fourth place with 1:18.1. Mercedes dives into pit lane. Provisional pole Ferrari of HP Gamer is next up to be coming around the final few corners. Doesn't dive into pit lane, going around the final corner now. Does he improve? Does he stay? Stays with the 1:17.811, still enough provisional pole. Up next though, the fellow Ferrari, Dale Broughton. 1:18.690. Still quite a bit of time to find if he wants to be challenging up at the front for the Ferrari team. It's the Apex is nicely, dives into pit lane though, aborting another lap. Alfa Romeo now, Bly Apper, jump on board for their full first flying lap. Hopefully this time with 5.5 minutes left, this time setting hopefully a time onto the board. Spinning it round, turn 3. Get another car going round, it's another lap going to have to be aborted. Adorate now, heading round, turn 3. Alpine keeping it steady throughout the whole corner, making it round, jumping on board now. They need to set their first flying lap too. Yellow's behind one of the Alpha Tauris going off the track, getting out of the way. The hard grip corner keeps it steady through the corner, going to get a nice slipstream all the way down the straight by the Aston Martin. Very late on the race, it's very close to the rear wing of the Aston of Apex. Apex dives off the track. Purple middle sector gets taken away by the Mercedes. Just going to keep it steady now for the final few corners. Doro has a 5-place grid drop for that pit lane collision, has to set a very fast lap in order to get anywhere high on the grid. First lap takes pole provisionally with a 1:17.782, will be dropped down to 6th though at best. For now, Ferrari keeps pole position. Jumping over to Apex though on his flying lap. We've seen him diving out of the way of the Alpine car. Not going to be able to get any slipstream, just like he gave to the competitor. Holding it steady up through the middle sector. $1:19.415 to beat. Haven't seen any purple sectors pop up for the defending champion. the greatest chicane ever. Ports the lap, going into pit lane. Eldorado up next, crossing the line, heads up into 4th position with a 1:18.079. Next cross the line, Curly 7 for the AlphaTauri, 1:19.050 to beat, improves a 1:18.379, moving up to 8th position. Red Bull now, VNT Rosenquist, a 1:35 to beat as there is still a tyre on the track from one of the abandoned, crashed out cars. No major incidents or spins so far for the Red Bull. Very few corners left to go, hopefully it stays that way. Nice and steady at the chicane. Bit wide coming around the final corner. Walking down to the line now, improves to a 1:20.264. As OJ English now for the Williams goes to 1:17.696. Yellow flag sector 2 for Curly 7. The Alfa Romeos now. That was almost a very dangerous rejoin for the AlphaTauri. Not 100% sure what he's doing. Back on track now, getting underway again. Seconds left in qualifying. Number of cars heading on their outlap, trying to get back provisional pole position. First though, to lead them all off, Blyapper in the Alfa Romeo gets a little bit unstable out of turn 3, keeps it going in a straight line though this time. Good and steady through the low grip areas of Sector 1, moving into Sector 2. These next few corners are also notoriously hard to get any grip on. Gonna have to keep it stable up through the right hander up the hill. Dropping it on the left hand side could prove to be difficult to avoid. Keeps it going straight line. Qualifying is now over. Number of cars left to complete their laps. Yellow in Sector 1 for a Red Bull spun round out of turn 3. McLaren off the track as well. Going across the line now, Blyapper for the first flying lap goes into 13th. Fastest lap though, 1:17.665 by Ambrose. The other following Alfa Romeo takes provisional pole. HP Gamer also does not improve from 1:17.811. Up next to cross the line will be AlphaTauri of SOG and Impulse. Improves to 1:18.289. Doesn't go any higher though. Azzy now for 1:17.910 crosses the line, takes provisional pole by a huge margin, 1:17.182 for the Red Bull driver. Dorote also moved up to a 1:17.480, but that grid drop penalty means it will be starting down in 7th place. 1:20.264 for the second Red Bull of Rosenquist. Saskia now crosses the line, stays last. Looking down our grid now, Azzy Iredale, our previous winner out in Singapore, taking pole position by 0.3 of a second. 1:17.182 for the Red Bull driver. Adorote, provisionally second, but plus 5 positions. Then M Rose, who will be starting in second on the front row, our debut driver. OJ English takes up 4th and HP Gamer in 5th. Simon Baker, Eldorado and SGD Impulse in 6th, 7th and 8th. Curly 7 and JL Broughton take up the final positions of the top 10. Moving down, Apex Miata, our defending champion, in 11th. Harrison M in 12th. Blyapper 13th. VNT Rosenquist 14th. Scarlet 15th and welcome back to Season 5 of the FVC. Round 3, the Spanish Grand Prix, as Iredale TTV taking pole position in the Red Bull team. Debut driver Mr. M Rose takes second for the Alfa Romeo after a 5-place grid drop to 7th place for the Alpine Avador Te for colliding to the back of Saskia Mall. OJ English for the Williams team takes 3rd position at the Spanish Grand Prix. The HP8 Gamer, our Shanghai winner, currently 2nd in the championship, being a reserve driver in 4th position. Simon Baker yet to complete any single lap in the FVC. In terms of race conditions, starts up in 5th. Hopefully going to be having a better race today for the Williams team. Eldorado 2009 starts 6th place, being the only Mercedes on the grid today, with Adorote backing up in 7th. 5-place grid drop out of 2nd place. We're colliding with the back of the McLaren of Saskia. AlphaTauri 8th and 9th, locking out that row. SG Impulse ahead of teammate Curly 7, with JL Broughton, FVC2 graduate, in 10th place. Defending champion, the Apex Miata, down in 11th after not having a great qualifying. Harrison M, 2906, crashing out in 12th position, and Blyapper as well, not getting a good lap, only one flying in the entirety of the whole qualifying session, in 13th. VNT Rosenquist, claiming to be ill, sets a 120 starting in 14th. Scarlet as well, crashing out of qualifying. Atrocious qualifying for the Aston Martin team. Saskia Mall finishes up the grid in 16th position for McLaren team. Not setting the greatest laps in the world, however, jumping back up to the front. As he leads from M Rose, OJ English and HP8 Gamer. Very fast drivers in our top group today. Good luck to all our drivers, and let's hope for a good, clean, hard race today in Spain. Two, three, 4, 5 red lights are on. It's lights out and away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. The Aston Martin's at the back, getting an excellent start. Up at the front though, looking to be much better launch for Azzy, coming down to turn 1. Bigly, there's a huge crash at the back. HP8 Gamer gets taken out. Saskia Mall as well. That is 2 cars and a safety car immediately deployed. That, I'm pretty sure, is grounds enough for a restart. Two cars taken out, 2 more with damage. Need to go and check what there is like. Impulse missing a wing, Ambrose missing a wing. That is 4 cars, that is... not sure. Didn't entirely see what happened, but... disregarding, actually, that stands by standards, I think. However, Disregard, it is not grounds for a restart. We will be continuing this race. If we're abiding by our rulebook today, not enough cars got the damage required for a restart. All cars now caught up, back to the grid. Hectic start for 2 cars, even more hectic for another 2. Mr. M. Rose entered Impulse, being included in that accident, getting front wing damage, able to keep going though, but Saskimol and HP8 Gamer both going out. Going to be a big blow to the Ferrari, who we heard in our pre-race interview were just hoping to get the best they could for the weeks they were here. That is a massive blow to their championship hopes. Running down the grid for the restart, Azzy Ardell TTV stays in first position, but in second and third, the Williams duo making it round the first lap, both of them for the first time this season. They're looking prime position to take the restart. Adorate from 7th up to 4th after the grid drop, and Jail Broughton in 5th position. 6th and 7th taken up by the Aston Martin duo of Apex and Scarlet. We get confirmation from Race Control that the car is coming in this lap. Mega start for both the Aston Martins, as we've seen from the race start cameras. They got a huge launch. Harrison M also making big gains up to 8th position, and Blyappa in 9th. VNT Rosenquist in 10th position, taking up the final point playing position on lap 3. Eldorado, Curly, Mr. M Rose, and Estrogen Impulse take up 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. Not a great start for the AlphaTauri team. Jumping up back to the front now. Azzy warming up the tyres, hoping to get a good launch. Let's jump on board for the restart for now. Safety car still not into the pits. It'll be diving in now though. Still warming the tyres, going now, out of the last corner. Good reaction time. Still weaving down the straights, but that is green flag racing over the line now. We are back to green in Spain. Alpine in the background looking for a way round the outside. Now down to the inside of Simon Baker. Gets the move done, has to keep it round the long right-hander. A lot of cars spinning out here during qualifying. Keep it going. Mr. M Rose now gets spun halfway round at the first chicane. Dorothy making a great move against the Williams of Simon Baker, back up into the podium positions. Eldorado also making a move on VNT Rosenquist for 10th position, up into the points for the Mercedes team. Red Bull dropping back off the pack, but up at the front. Oh, as one of the Aston Martins gets spun, and that's Apex, defending champion, round out of the pack. Bit or two yellow. One of the clowns, that'll be Harrison M, going round in the background. Number of zones looking to be hard for these cars to stay any form of grip around them. Leading a lap though and running away at the front with a 1.3 second gap. Azzy setting a 121.305 for the Red Bull on the mediums. M Rose now 10-second penalty for cutting corners. Rose also heading into pit lane and retiring as well for race. Apex as well now spinning at the last chicane. For what was a brilliant start, has went completely upside down for the Aston Martin driver. As the other Alfa Romeo now, Blyapper gets spun round or spins it themselves out of turn 3. As Rosenqvist has left the session, that car's going to be in AI mode now. McLaren's going to try and take advantage of as much as they can. Going to be going around the long way into sector 3. Gets it done for the corner though. Easy move for the Harrison M. Acid Impulse running off the road, get very wide in sector 3, nearly getting collected by the Red Bull as he now setting another fast lap with a 120.963. DRS now enabled as he just too far ahead, 2.2 seconds in the lead of the race, completely dominant performance yet again from them. However, the battle for second is heating up. Adorote chasing down the Williams of OJ English. DRS enabled now, could be causing it a bit easier. Impulse moving ahead of Rosenqvist for 10th position. Yellow's sector 1, turn 3 yet again for the Alfa Romeo of Blyapper. Rose leaves. Another spin again for the Alfa Romeo. Apex getting ahead of that stricken car. One of the Ferraris now seems to have hit problems coming out over the top of the hill. They're going to be stuck there until every car passes. I think they were stuck there completely, having to reset the track to be able to get going again. Thankfully waiting for all the other cars to get past as he's still running away up front. Doing another fastest lap at 128.65. However, here's the Alpine now coming down. DRS wide open. Moves to the right hand side. Easy move against the Williams. Not even a challenge. Rosenqvist rejoining the session, taking back control of the Red Bull again. However, they're nearly a lap down. In fact, no, that is wrong. I'm looking at the wrong dot. Rosenqvist leaves the session again. Apologies for saying that the Red Bull is nearly a lap down. Looking at the wrong dot. Seeing that it's Azzy still out in front. Yellow's in sector 3 for the McLaren. Harrison M spinning round out of turn 3. Gets it going again pretty quickly though. Mustn't have been too bad of a spin. DRS now open for OJ English, catching back up to the Alpine of Adorote. We're going to be hoping to at least. Yellow sector 1 for the Alfa Romeo yet again. Bit of a gap forming now between battle for second. Seems to have crawled out, however the battle for 4th position is now closing up. Scarlett catching up to the back of the second Williams. Much further back, DRS wide open though. Simon moving over to the right side, move back to the left, defending fresh air completely, no point in moving. Red Bull spun round up the front, and that's Azzy. Adoro takes the lead, Azzy having to reset the track, getting stuck again. That's going to be a huge problem for them, dropping down all the way down to 6th place. Adoro now takes the lead of the race. Turn 3 proving to be a problem area for all the drivers, even the best of the best. Middle of sector 2, they're coming up now. Alfa Romeo's gotten sideways. Going to be going again, Adoro though. catching up fast. Broughton gets 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. Scarlett has made the move up into 3rd position now against Simon Baker. Harrison M now retired from the session, crashing out. A stricken McLaren looks to be bringing the safety car out. We get neutralised for the 2nd time. Going to be a big area to start your pit strategies now. Lap 8 of 33. Top 3 all jumping in. Simon Baker staying out. 5th and 6th also going in. Promote Simon into the lead of the race. However, pit stops will come back to possibly change out the entire order. Curly 7 also stays out, moving up into 2nd place. As does the AlphaTauri of Impulse. Four cars out, 16 remain. 16, sorry. 4 cars gone of our 16 initial drivers, 12 remaining in the race. So far we've lost both the McLarens, a Ferrari and an Alfa Romeo. Number of cars left to still catch up. Moving through the field though, Simon Baker 40.67 for the first time leading a race in the FVC. Lap 9 of 33, instead of going out in the first lap, they're now leading. Curly 7 and SG and Impulse, both for the AlphaTauri team, in 2nd and 3rd. AlphaTauri looking well if they can hold these positions to take a nice haul of points. Adoro Tay, 2nd place qualifier, provisionally, as well as a very fast driver in 4th position, going into the pits to change strategy. Might be worth a huge haul of points if they've pulled it off correctly. OJ English, the 2nd Williams in 5th position, Scarlett the 42 in 6th, Eldorado in 7th, Red Bull Duo, Azurodale and VNT Rosenquist 8th and 9th, with Apex in 10th after a huge spin, putting them right out of the pack. They're coming right back into it due to the safety car. JL Broughton in 11th position, 5-second penalty for speeding in pit lane, also drops it through the middle of the 3rd sector, coming round the right-hander. Flyapper, lap down, seems to be trying to look for a way to get their lap back, still in the middle of the pack though, doesn't want to do it around turn 3, and personally I don't blame them. The grip issues around this corner have been catching out a lot of drivers, including previous race leader and very dominant driver Azzy. Safety car coming in this lap, all cars getting caught up. There is still that lap down car of Flyapper right in the middle of the pack. That could cause a lot of problems. Top 5 it looks like, all in front of it. 6th down to 12th behind, or 6th down to 11th, sorry, behind that Alfa Romeo. Jumping back up to the front, Simon Baker still has to let the safety car come into pit lane before booting it out. Safety car is now in the pits. We are back to racing speed coming out the final corner. Simon nearly spinning it out of the final corner. Broughton immediately getting ahead of Apex and Rosenquist. Alfa Romeo still right in the middle of the pack, going down, having a look at the inside. The Alpha Tauris don't quite make it stick, going side by side around the second corner. Curly staying ahead. Up comes the Alpine though. Adoro Tay looking at the inside. Impulse, big wiggle through the middle of the corner. Has to drop back, just secure the car. Keeps it going though. Scarlet going side by side with Impulse. Round the outside of the corner. Keeps it in. Gets ahead. What a move that was. Has to take to the grass to go around the outside of the Williams. Doesn't quite get the move to work, but keeps it going in a straight line. Somehow, Scarlet hasn't dropped the car after going round the outside and having to take to the grass to get past some cars. Behind, Impulse and Dorado side by side through the corners, keeping it paddled. Dorado, the outside. Not enough grip. Going to be having a look down the inside, possibly at the next corner. As the Red Bull of Addy jumped on the inside of Dorado, and Addy half spins. And Broughton, fully round, backing into the wall, somehow keeps it going. You're getting very close to the Aston Martin though of Apex. As Scarlet spins it out of the first corner, it backs it into the wall. It's yet more problems for the Aston Martin team. Just as the comeback was starting, Scarlet spinning again around the middle of turn 3. The overheated tyre is going to be causing huge problems for her. Scarlet spinning it again. Sector 2, looks like Broughton does the same in sympathy, allowing Scarlet to keep the position. DRS enabled now. Front group, 4 cars, all within a second of each other. 5th car of Estrogen Impulse just creeping into that gap. Adorate making a move on Curly 7 to turn 1, moving up to 2nd place. Adoro carving through the field with ease. Lie up and out, 5-second penalty, ignoring the blue flags. So I wonder how that car hasn't already been filtered out of the way. Yellow in sector 1 for Scarlet, he's spinning it again. The arrest train now, about a second between Sam Baker and Adorote. Curly 7 going a bit wide, OJ English having a look around the outside now, going around the long right-hander, having to give it up. Not enough grip on those tyres. Gets a better launch out of the corner, going round the outside again for the next corner. Gets ahead by the chicane. Doesn't seem they were close enough for DRS. AlphaTauri is now going to be gaining all the way down the straight on the Williams team. Into the outside. Impulse doesn't go for it, Curly does. OJ having to hold it on the outside. Bouncing over the curve, who's Curly having to back out, impedes their teammate a little bit. That's unfortunate for them. This group has to be careful though, the Mercedes of Eldorado and the Red Bull of Azzy right behind. Dorado looking for a move down the inside, doesn't go for it. Dorado now looking for a side-by-side with Impulse, doesn't have enough grip to make it work. Going down there, looking for a switchback, doesn't get the drive that he needs. Ferrari of Broughton moves ahead of Scarlet, who's in pit lane. Up at the front, it seems the two leaders are now getting very close together. Adorate making moves on Salmon. Spin for the Ferrari of Broughton. Alpine now has to take a big swerve, avoiding action to get past, but into the lead goes the Alpine of Adorate. DRS proving to be very powerful for the Alpine car. Simon Baker now, quest of catching back up. Just got to hold it within a second for the next lap, but already half a second, nearly 6/10 of a gap between the two cars before even the second DRS detection zone. Spin for an Aston Martin again, looked like a reset to track by the way the blip was moving on the map. Eldorado now moving ahead of Curly, as well as Azzy up into 5th. Red Bull just a little too far back to make the most of the DRS in order to get past. However, Azzy is a much quicker driver than most of the rest of the grid even. However, it all comes down to how well you can pass, and you need to be able to set up passes consistently around Spain. There's not overly many places to go. Down the inside into the chicane. What a move, what a lunge that was. Moving right ahead of Impulse. Impulse now going to be getting disadvantaged. Still has the DRS on Azzy. That'll keep his defense against Eldorado for just a little bit. That's reported for rear wing damage for the Aston Martin of Scarlet. Could be why that car is spinning so much around most of the corners. Been many ups and downs so far this race for the Aston Martin team. Adorate seems to be running away with it, lap 16 of 33. Another spin for Broughton, coming for sector 2. Williams duo in second and third. Got to start helping each other if they want to keep that gap to Azzy as large as they can for as long as they can. Impulse just staying within a second of that Red Bull in order to keep the DRS going, but not for long, I wouldn't think personally, where Azzy starts pulling away from the AlphaTauri. Simon Baker into pit lane. She's just going ahead. Yellow in sector 3 for what looked to be the Alfa Romeo yet again. As a huge crash there, Azzy out of the race, hits the side of Apex. Both cars out of the race. And my mistake, that's Scarlet actually. Huge incident between these two very fast drivers. Safety car comes back out for the third time this race. Two very fast cars, very fast drivers out of the race. That leaves just 10 remaining. (18 to 33), 5-second penalty for Eldorado speeding in pit lane. Going to be another second pit rush for the majority of drivers here. Broughton and Blyap are still a long ways to be able to catch up to the back of the field. well. 16 cars started, only 10 remain. A number of high-level drivers, including our top 2 in the championship. Neither of them will finish this race. All cars caught up, we're going to be going green at the end of lap 19. Looking down our field for the second restart of the race, I believe. Adorote leads from OJ English, Curly 7 and Estrogen Impulse 3rd and 4th. The AlphaTauri team having a great showing so far, but the very fast Williams of Sam and Baker behind. Eldorado 2009 as well in the Mercedes, followed by the Apex Miata. Inti Rosenquist in 8th position, GL Broughton in 9th, who's actually in the middle of the pack, as well as Blayapa. Both of these cars going to be lap down blue flagged for the restart. Safety car in this lap getting confirmed by race control. Dorote leading off the pack for another start. Round now, the final few corners. Dorote boots out of the chicane. Backing up the pack a little bit. Much better launch, already a second of gap over OJ English. However, the slipstream down the straight going to cause that to close up a little bit behind. Blue flag car of Broughton seems to be getting out of the way. Side by side though, Simon Baker and Eldorado. Mercedes moving ahead. Impulse spinning round the Ferrari of Broughton out of the corner. Impulse now having to battle against the Mercedes of Dorado. Dorado moving ahead into the corner. Up in front we see Curly 7 and OJ English battling. OJ getting a slipstream, going to be looking down to make a move into the inside of Curly. Better on the brakes, into the hairpin though. AlphaTauri trying to keep it around the outside, running all the way to the edge of the track. Both still side by side. Curly's going to have the inside for the next corner. English keeping it steady all the way around the outside, holds it round. Curly having to drop back behind the Williams. Dorado now looking for a way past the AlphaTauri of Curly. Brilliant drive from English, but up next though, here comes the Mercedes. Gaining now down the straight, moves to the left side, going having a look at the outside for turn 1. Soft tyre, Curly defending as well as he could. Hard tyre proving not able to do much. Up next though, for Eldorado is the Williams of OJ English. Soft tyre proving to be a much better tyre. Has a look down for the inside. Doesn't quite get it though. English though running wide out of the corner. They nearly collide wheel to wheel. Dorado having to go all the way around the outside of the next corners. Gets it done. The much better higher grip tyre of the soft compound. Easily destroying the hards in terms of drivability. Dorado though has that penalty. Needs to build a big gap. Gaps just seem to be increasing that ever so slight amount. Adorote out front, 2.8 second gap. DRS now enabled. Up front though, we see OJ English making another move, just in reverse of what he had happen against him. Having a look around the outside, hard compound tire doesn't quite get enough grip though, back into the inside, holds it round. Dorado stays ahead out of the first corner. First chicane, sorry. However, Dorado may have overworked those soft compound tires, they may be falling off already, looking at how the Williams is coming back now. DRS above the cars down the straight, English gaining but not enough at the corner. Going to be a line all the way through the chicanes, however, to the detection zone. Half a second worth of gap. However, the Williams now, much better run through the corner. DRS wide open, in revenge. Here comes Williams against the Mercedes, flying past on the left-hand side. Dorado moving down back into third position. OJ English with a flying car. Move done easily into turn one. Dorado needs those soft tyres to come back into their working window if he wants to be able to catch back up to the front. That penalty going to be causing a lot of problems otherwise. All the cars, 10 laps to go, very close together still. But it seems Dorado may have worked those tyres too hard, falling off the back of the Williams. However, OJ English seems to be gaining ever so slightly. One of the cars in the back, that's Curly, spins it round. Keeping it going in a straight line. Doesn't seem to have any wing damage though. Promotes a bunch of the field up in two. So it gets spun round by the Alfa Romeo of Blyapper. OJ English now setting the fastest laps of the race, 120.63 or 673 on the hard compound tyre. Dorado coming into pit lane. Sector 3 yellow for Broughton spinning again. Going to be a hard race with that Ferrari, but as long as he can keep it going, Ferrari team will at least be scoring a point. Simon Baker now going to be hunting down the AlphaTauri of Impulse. Needs to be careful not to fight them too much though. Apex behind, looking well in position in order to take third off the both of them if they're not careful. DRS gaining all the way down the straight, not going to be enough for the Williams. Nice and steady throughout the line, yellow again. Ferrari going round. DRS going to be wide open. Not going to be close enough to make any gains majorly off it though. Simon moving down to the inside, the outside for the next corner, stays behind, doesn't move for yet. Looking for the better drive traction off the corner, doesn't get it though. Impulse ahead on the better compound tyre, the mediums. Simon though looks to get a better launch off the corner. DRS wide open, has looked down to the inside, doesn't go for it, backs out. We see Aston Martin behind, chasing as well. Simon needs his move done quick and he needs it done clean. Otherwise, the Aston Martin is going to take advantage of the both of them. This time though, down the straight, Impulse only 4.5 tenths. Gaining all the way down. Williams still not enough pace, still behind the AlphaTauri car. Having a look down to the inside, going to be a dive down the inside for the corner. Impulse running just a bit wide. Impulse going to have the inside corner for the inside line for the next corner. Able to keep it ahead. Apex now right on the back of both of them. Impulse a bit slower through the corner. DRS now wide open for the Williams. Has a look down to the inside again. Doesn't quite make it very late in the race. Has to take a bit of avoiding action. Running a little bit wide. May just cause a bit better launch on the exit though. So we see Apex now having a look around the outside. Going to be making a dive to the inside. Backs out of it. Has to cut across the chicane. Has a look to the inside again. Doesn't get it moved. Has a look down the inside for the corner. Side by side. They keep it out of each other. Very close though. Apex going to be getting past using DRS as Salmon does not have it. Exactly the point I was making. Salmon needed that move done quick but clean and he's lost out. To the Aston Martin. Sorry about that, Scarlett. Give me a quick second. There you go. That should fix that problem. Scarlett, if you could type in the chat for me, please, quickly. Feel free to join me in the commentary booth as well at any point. Fair enough. HP Gamer now leaving the session, crashing out at the start line or getting crashed out, still not sure what entirely happened. Simon Baker looking for a way past the Aston Martin. Both of these two battling is going to be giving Impulse a bit of breathing room. Still within the fringes of the DRS though, however, should not be for much longer. The Alfa Romeo behind, also getting DRS. However, the car is a lap down. Simon looking for a way around. Apex running wide off the corner. Simon moving to the inside. Going to have the inside line for the next corner as well. Apex staying around the outside on a medium compound tyre. Keeps it ahead. However, they're going to be side by side. Mostly. Simon just has to back out going into the next corner on the outside line. Blah now rejoining, hoping to take control of the Alfa Romeo. .6 of a second between the Aston Martin and the AlphaTauri. Excuse me. Ooh. Fastest lap, 1:20.521, set by the Mercedes of Eldorado. Yellow's turn 3 for the Red Bull of Rosenquist. Everything seems to have equalised just a little bit now, but Apex closer every lap to the back of that AlphaTauri. Still just a little too far back to make the lunge into turn 1. Impulse though moving to the inside, actually coming this time now. Apex to the inside of Impulse into turn 1. Side by side, Apex gets ahead very cleanly of the AlphaTauri, moving up to 3rd position. Impulse we see running ever so slightly wide in the background, keeps it stable though. Broughton, the next car ahead, pulls off the track, blue flags in effect. It's going to give Apex a nice bit of breathing room coming around the corner. Broughton moving it away again, letting the next 2 cars through. Moving over to Simon Baker in the hunt for 4th place. As a momentary look to the inside for the start of the chicane, doesn't quite make it happen. However, very close now. The long straight combined with the DRS might just be enough for the Williams to get ahead of the AlphaTauri. Or it could play completely even for both the cars. Williams' car must be running a much higher downforce, gaining through the entirety of turn 3. I'm getting very close to the back of Impulse now. Move over to the side, now the outside of the track, doesn't quite get enough grip to make the move work. Gaining up through the 2nd sector though, could prove just how much more downforce that car has. Even with DRS over, they're going to be equalised. Simon though, having a look down the inside, has to take 2 of these soft from the inside, disadvantaging himself, allowing Impulse to get ahead for that little bit longer. Not long left to go, just 2 and a bit more laps for Impulse. Time is running out for Simon to make the move, but time is also running out for Impulse in order to keep that position. Going comfortably ahead, going through turn 3 again. The Williams absolutely flying through the corners, having a look down to the inside, backside of it. Yellows for Ferrari again. Woeful afternoon for that team. we're heading on to the final lap now. Last shot for Simon Baker to make the move against Impulse for 4th position. However, looking at the gaps, I don't think it'll happen. 0.8 of a second throughout the start to turn 3 doesn't gain enough. Yellows again for the Ferrari. Problems all the time. Must have some form of damage on that car as well. Only half a lap remaining for Simon Baker, and if he wants to get the position against Impulse, doesn't look like it'll happen. Williams just not fast enough in a straight line to be able to catch up. Has a look to the inside, makes a dive for it. Doesn't have enough grip though, but let's jump back over to Adorote. Our 3rd winner in 3 races for Season 5, Adorote wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Coming home 2nd for Williams, and podium, another race, OJ English and Apex from very far down into 3rd. Impulse now managed to keep 4th position against Salmon, coming home in 5th. Curly 6th, Eldorado 7th. Rosenquist will be 8th, as it is impossible for any other car to overtake them. Lap down cars of Lyapper and Broughton finishing up a few minutes behind the rest of the field. Continuing the trend though of an exciting season so far, 3 winners in 3 races. Adorote will win provisionally. The championship lead will get tied as well between OJ English and Apex. Oh, where did that skip? What a day it has been in the FVC. Unfortunate for some, very fortunate for others. Alpine take the win with Adorote from 7th on the grid up into 1st. OJ English and Apex will tie for the lead in Drivers' Championships, coming home 2nd and 3rd respectively. Impulse defending valiantly from Simon Baker, coming home in 4th. Simon has to settle for 5th. Curly 7 and the other AlphaTauri comes in 6th position. Big holes for the AlphaTauri and Williams team. Eldorado 2009 in 7th, Rosenquist 8th, Lyap at 9th and Broughton in 10th, finishing 2 laps down. DNF today, Azzy Iredale, shock championship leader, doesn't finish the race after colliding with Scarlett. Scarlett also just in 12th position for DNFs. 13th goes to Harrison M, Mr. M, Rose 14th, Saskia Mall 15th and HP8 Gamer in 16th. Shocking day for some, brilliant day for others.